I was um I was just mastered by my emotions. So I was working my job, but if I felt like I was done, I was done. So I'll just leave or call in sick. or just I was just like very indisciplined, very unreliable as a person. And hello and welcome to this week's podcast. I'm so excited to have this opportunity to share with you again. It's always exciting. Always, I'll never stop saying that because it's a privilege really for me to have the ability to talk to you, to pour into you, to just connect with you. And I don't take it lightly. I appreciate you. I appreciate your time. So today I want to talk about what I've learned so far in 2020. I know that most of the times I am sharing points and stuff, but I have been looking back and thinking, I am on my journey. I am on my journey to becoming my best self. And I don't want to make it sound like I have arrived and I'm teaching from a point of like I've achieved things. It's more like this is where I am, this is what I'm learning. And I know somewhere, somehow, someone will benefit from what I'm learning because most learning comes from mistakes. And I hope that you avoid the mistakes I've made and you get to be propelled faster and avoid the pitfalls that I made along the way. So that's why I share these things. I share tips. I share stuff like how to live an effective life because those are the things I'm learning or I have been forced to learn as I get more organized about my life, about my business, about where I am going, about my purpose. All right. So, yeah, in this episode, I'm talking about what I've learned so far in 2020. It's been quite the year, don't you think? With the pandemic, we make plans, but really, as there's a verse that I love, it says, God determines the outcome. That is super true, man. Because look at now. I was thinking I had planned a conference with a couple of my friends. We're doing this big conference called Spark Your Fire. We were going to talk about a lot of things. We had so much planned there. And then I had some trainings planned on the farm and then other trainings. Like I had so much planned out for this year, travel, family, and everything. And all that has to go on the back bench because 2020 took a different turn, right? So most of the times we act like, well, we are in charge, we know what's happening. But this is just one big reminder to us that life is really, really short. Life is really, really unpredictable. We only are promised today. And it's a little somber, but think about it. Like when we're talking about, oh, 10,000 people have died, whatever number of people have died. And then we're thinking, oh, look at more are alive. But those are people who had dreams and plans and families. And so it's a big reminder for me of the importance of faith because why other people ask, I think we should just get a new year. 2020 is not working out. But for me, I am still like really positive because I know that if I'm still alive today, then there is a purpose for that. There is something good that can come out of life. And I believe things will turn around in a miraculous way. And I am so excited to see that happen. All right, so let's go into this episode. What I've learned in 2020. First of all, it's that life is short and we have to make it count. Don't take for granted the opportunity that you have to be alive, to be well, to have the ability to watch this, to have data, to be able to breathe, to be able to eat, to have friends who care, family that cares. Let's not take that for granted. Usually we act as if I'm saying we, but it actually says I used to really have this attitude where I would assume that I'm here for a long time, I'm here for a while, and so if I can't I can do this next week, I'll plan this next month, and not really utilize the present. So it's always nice to dream about the future and you get excited about what you do in the future, not managing what you've been given in the present. And sometimes we even live in the past with regret and worry about the past and how it will affect the present, and that we don't use the present to the fullest. And this is the first realization of 2020 for me. It's like life is short, make it count. Every opportunity that you've been given to be alive, to be well, use it to the fullest. How can you do that? You do that by pursuing your purpose, right? You're here to achieve a specific thing. What is that in your heart that you can't shake off, that you need to do, that you need to serve to the world? Pursue that. Pursue that with all your heart, because in that is your fulfillment, in that is your purpose. Because it'll be sad to die with everything that God put in you, like all the gifts, all the talents still intact. My goal is to die empty. When I'm dying, I'm out. Like, I'm done. I did everything. I've run out of energy, of talent, of wisdom, of whatever. Everything is finished. And so I'm dying. So know your purpose. And when you know it, own it. Don't let fear is a big deal for many of us, because maybe our purpose requires that we rise above the average in our families, the average in our communities, the average in our workplace, the average in our businesses, in whatever area we operate in. That's what walking in your purpose will require, because it will stretch you and it will put a demand on you. But it is worth it, because if you don't live your purpose and you live like everybody else, what was the point of life? What was the point of being kept alive up to now? So think about that. Think about why you're here. Think about what you're good at. Think about the goals and the dreams that you have. What can you do today? And the temptation sometimes is that you think about that and you think, I want to do everything today. It's not possible. But you can start today in a small way towards what you want to do. So if you want to write a book, start. If you want to lose weight, start. If you want to get in a relationship, start engaging people. If you want to get closer to God, start praying. Start. Today is all we have. And when it comes to tomorrow, it'll be today again. And that'll be all we have. So let's make the best use of what we're being given, because it's really, really a gift. Life is really, really short. Life is really, really unpredictable. And as long as we have breath, as long as we have the ability, let us make use of that. So that's my first lesson. The second one is power of focus. So I've been talking to a number of people, because I've been really putting myself out there with On Your Lane. I've been posting on social a lot. I've been doing videos a lot. And I get people speaking to me about things, their personal goals and their personal ambitions. And one of the things that I find that blocks a lot of people, and used to block me a lot, and I'm not out of it yet, I am improving on it, is lack of focus. Lack of focus, because usually if you're driven and have a purpose and have goals, there'll be so many. Like for me, I say a lot that I'm a billionaire in training. So what I'm doing right now is not necessarily what I want to be doing at the peak of my billionaire life, But what used to hold me back was the fact that I used to want to be doing that future, the billionaire future, in the present. So I wanted to run multiple companies. I wanted to not be a foot soldier in my business. I wanted to have staff. I wanted to have a big organization. And I did all that prematurely. I employed people. I really, like on my farm, I grew 12 crops. I planted a big farm. I wasn't even sure what I was doing, but I just knew that I had a big dream and it had to look big. Yeah. So power focus had to come into play. When I fell in my business, when everything fell apart, when I lost everything that I had invested in, I had to come back and say, okay, this is what I want. It's a billionaire ambition, but I'm here right now. So how can I move towards that? I want to have 12 different entities, 12 different income streams. Yes, it's amazing. But how can I sustain the first income stream so that it can propel me to my second income stream? Because you have limited energy, you have limited resources, you are limited in your mindset, like in your capacity to think, to learn. So you can't learn like 12 things at the same time and do them well. If you're doing it, then you're probably not giving your best to each one of them. So you can write down the 12 things that you want to do, the vision, you write it down. It's important to write it down. But then think today and be real, be real with the resources you have, the time you have, the responsibilities you have. What can you start? Be real, but also challenge yourself a little bit. Just don't go overboard. Focus. So for me, that meant like on my farm, I had to stop growing 12 crops. I had to define, what am I achieving? What am I aiming to achieve? And writing it down, writing the big dream down, and then trickling down to, okay, what can I do today? What expertise I need? That really helped me to just focus and to just not feel like I am less than the billionaire I want to be or become or manifest, but I am actually on the path, on the process of building that up or uncovering that potential in me. right? So power of focus is real. Write your dreams down, each one of them, as many as they are, but then zoom in into what you can do today. Actually, if you have low hanging fruits, like things that you can do that can easily turn around your cash or turn around your effort or encourage you by having a fast turnaround time, invest in that, because that will propel you, that will give you confidence to push your dreams. So power of focus is real. Prioritize, because you are limited in your resources. And the second thing is consistency beats motivation. Yes, because we do a lot of motivation. I love motivation. It helps you get started, it pumps you up, but consistency is where it's at. Consistency is where it gets really boring, but it's important. It gets boring because it's routine. Consistency is you show up every day, you show up, you're reliable. I struggled with that a lot, a lot, because I'm a spontaneous, extroverted person. And so showing up the same way to the same thing was boring for me. So that's why in my business, I ended up having 12 different lines of income, which were struggling, because I felt like I need to start something else because this is boring. I'm done with this. Was okay, I've mastered this. And I was doing so many things, So I felt like that was exciting, but I couldn't build anything with inconsistency, right? You can't build anything with just motivation. After you're motivated, after you're pumped, now you have to go to the ground. What will keep you going on the ground? It's consistency. You acknowledge your feelings, you feel bored, I don't want to do this, but you remember your vision. And that's why vision boards are really important also, guys. Get a vision board, put what you're going towards so that you remember, all right? So when you're trading, let's say a night, an hour that you have, you're trading it to Netflixing or to binging on something or to just exploring on something. You remember, you look at your private jet, or you look at the impact you want to make, you look at the vision that you have, and you go like, it's not worth it. Let me go. I promised myself that I would read, or I would watch that YouTube channel and learn. I would watch that, or I would take this course. Then you show up for yourself, right? So motivation will get you started on that vision board. Motivation will have you like fired up and believing, and that's important. And motivation shouldn't be once off even. Find a way to motivate yourself every day and stick to consistency. Consistency has to be developed. It's like a muscle. It's a willpower muscle, because you're riding over your emotions. I used to be this person, you people, where I was just mastered by my emotions. So I was working my job, but if I felt like I was done, so I'll just leave or call in sick. I was just like very indisciplined, very unreliable as a person. And I always wondered why people didn't take me seriously. It's because I was putting out that inconsistency. Even when I started my business, I took the same attitude there, because some days I would feel like I don't want to go there. I don't want to talk about this. A person would call me and say, okay, would you please, we need this at the farm. Are you coming today? I'd be like, I don't want to, I don't want to do it. So my feelings would really drive me, and that trumps consistency, and you will not build anything worthwhile without consistency. So it's a muscle. You have to start from somewhere. Start with something that is easy. And I shared a hack. I think it's somewhere in the previous episodes I wrote. It's a productivity hack. I call it habit stacking. It really helps. So if you want to introduce a new habit that is helpful, but you don't know, you're struggling with it, you can include it among the habits that you already have. So I gave an example of like, if your evening involves you sitting on the couch, having a cup of tea, watching something every evening, you do that consistently, and you want to start taking an hour or 15 minutes to just read or learn something new, put that new habit among the set habits, the comfortable habits. So you still sit on the couch, you still have your tea, and before you watch your show, you will read for 10 minutes. And you say, okay, I'll not watch my show until I read for 10 minutes. So you're stacking your habits. There's the comfort of doing what you already do. There's the new thing in the middle. You're sandwiching it in there. And then after that, you're rewarding yourself with comfort again. So you get some sort of a win-win. You're tricking yourself to get things done. But you have to understand and embrace the fact that to get anything done, to go anywhere, you need that consistency to be working for you, right? So if I did it, which I did, I'm not perfect, but I have been working out. I think that's a place where I started with my consistency, because I was really, really overweight, and I was struggling with that and with my self-confidence and with how I felt. I started there. I committed to myself, I'm going to lose this weight, I'm going to be healthy, I'm going to be transformed. And I did that. And that kind of power, that the willpower that came from me being consistent with my fitness journey, really trickled down to now being consistent in my spiritual life, being consistent in my learning, in my mindset, right? So consistency beats motivation all the time. So work that consistency muscle. And the other thing that I've learned, which is probably the final thing, is that do the boring things. Consistency is also boring, but here I meant like the boring things, like put checks and balances in your life. Other people are naturally good at that, having checks and balances. That is really cool. But some of us who really have to be like, put those budgets, right? Like, just be responsible with what you've been given. Be a good steward of what has been entrusted to you. So checks and balances do that. So let's say you tell yourself that I have a weekly money meeting with myself or with my spouse or with my friend. What am I doing at this money meeting? I'm talking about what I've spent, why I spent, and what is my plan. Am I sticking to my plan? It's a check and balance. It's not something that is exciting, but it's something that is necessary. As you build this consistency in putting checks and balances, you'll find that you're able to go with the limited resources that you have. You're able to make them go far. You're able to achieve so much more. It's not just money meetings. It can be energy meetings. It can be learning meetings with yourself or with somebody else, where you're like, okay, I set goals for my year this year to learn this much, to start this book, to read this, to do that. You do all that, and then you put checks and balances to say, how am I progressing? I was doing that one time in the night. I woke up in the middle of the night and I couldn't sleep, and I started thinking, this year has to be different for me. I was saying that, and I was thinking, life is short. All these things I'm sharing with you, I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, I need that structure in my life. And because of my personality, sometimes structure is not something that I find really attractive. And sometimes when I have the structure, I push it too hard and it becomes really constricting, and even it stifles my creativity and my very well-being. So I'll be like, I want to read a book a week, and no matter what happens that week, I will try to push it, even if it means I'm not learning. And so there's a balance that I need to have. Because I'm so extroverted, I don't like those checks and balances and the stability. But then also, on the other hand, I have this other personality that is pushy and that is like gorilla type of like, let's get things done no matter what. So I have to find the balance there. So because of that, in the night I was thinking, I need this year to be different. And because I need this year to be different, I can't let the year go by without putting structure in the ground. Like, I need quarterly meetings with myself and with my spouse, where I'm talking about, what did I set out to do this year? What groundwork did I want to do? How has it worked? How was the first quarter? What am I doing different? Like 3 things that I'm doing this quarter that must happen. And how am I going to make those happen? Just having these talks, these are things that will guide you, will provide you the foundational work for you to get effective in whatever you want to achieve. So have those checks and balances. Have the time budget, the money budget, the shopping budget. It can be any kind of things that you're interested in. For me, it is the learning budget. I have set out to learn specific things that are not exciting to me, but I need to learn them, like marketing, like sales funnels and stuff. I need to learn all that and see how and develop some sort of like process for my business so that I can be wise about what I'm doing. And so doing all that, having that kind of check and balance, and having those budgets of the learning I need to do, the books I need to read, the engagements, the relationships I need to build, and having time to really look back and think, okay, how is that going? Why is it not going well? How can I do better in the next month and in the next quarter? Really, really helps. And that's what I'm really big on doing this year. So those are the kind of reviews I want to be making. All right, so that's pretty much what I had for you in this episode. It's what I've been learning, and you can share what you're learning or how helpful this video or this podcast has been for you. And I'll just do a quick recap of what I have learned in 2020 so far. I've learned that life is short and I should make it count. The second point is I've learned of the power of focus. You are limited in your energy and resources. Zoom in on where you want them to be directed. And then also consistency beats motivation. Find a way to motivate yourself daily, but understand that you need to be consistent, and consistency is really not as exciting, but that's what builds anything worth building. And then also do the boring things. Put checks and balances, do your budgets, do reviews of your life and your time and your resources and everything that you've been entrusted to, because you want to be a good steward, right? You want to die empty. You want to do everything that you came here for. You can be, you could have a long life. You want it to be effective, or your life might not be as long. You don't know when you will leave, but you want to have as much impact. You want to utilize everything that you've been given, so that when you die, when you come and transition to your Father, to God, he looks at you and says, girl, boy, you did that. You did that. You did good. And that's what I look forward to. That's what I want out of life, to do so well that God is like, well done, good and faithful servant.